At the dinner party, the whole family somehow heard the conversation between you and some system.
You know your eldest sister Mu Wanru? Her fiancé is cheating. And he's quite wild about it. Hearing this gossip, your eyes instantly widened. What? Isn't Fu Yanjie the famous model gentleman of the capital? Even mom and dad praise him, right? Mu Wanru, sitting across from you, immediately straightened her chest.
Her fiancé is the most devoted husband.
But the next second, the system instantly poured cold water on her. People can all put on an act.
You're not a worm in her stomach, how would you know her true face? Mu Wanru dug her nails into her palm, refusing to believe these words, and slammed the table demanding.
Mugu, what are you saying?
You were startled.
Big sister, I didn't say anything, but internally you were complaining.
Man, this woman goes crazy for no reason.
No wonder Fu Yanjie is keeping a mistress outside. Look at her personality, seriously. Third sister Mu Yuqing quickly kicked you under the table. Have some more food. These relatives left you bewildered as you got up and went to the kitchen to get rice. Meanwhile, you didn't forget to keep gossiping. By the way, how far have they gone? The system chuckled. Hee, master, they went into the hotel and haven't come out since. It's been a full 2 hours, no sign of stopping. You were somewhat surprised. That enduring? Then big sister will be lucky in that area. Deep throat. Mu Wanru couldn't take it anymore.
She immediately ran to the restroom and dialed Fu Yanjie's number. But after more than 10 calls, no one answered. Suddenly, a chaotic flood of anger filled her mind. This made him very agitated. Third sister Mu Yuqing gently knocked on the door. Big sister? You can't fully believe what Mu Gu says. Don't take it to heart. Mu Wanru's voice was helpless. Third sister, I've called Fu Yanjie countless times, but he hasn't answered a single one. My messages are also lost at sea. Fifth sister Mu Yuro had to console her. Big sister, don't overthink. Maybe he's really busy and can't look at his phone. Later, you can ask him again. If that doesn't work, we'll go ask Mu Gu for the truth. No need. Just let me be alone for a while. Mu Wanru shook her head gently, left the bathroom, and went straight upstairs. But just then, your inner voice rang in everyone's ears again. Man, big sister's state is off. Xiaohua, any hot news? What's going on? Host, Mu Wanru probably knows about Fu Yanjie. She was just calling him a moment ago. Before he finished, you immediately thought he didn't answer, right? I told you so. That Fu Yanjie sure has stamina. He's gone back for another round. The moment you said that, all the sisters were speechless. The air even filled with a murderous aura. Upstairs, Mu Wanru yanked the door open and then slammed it shut again. Sensing something wrong, you asked in your mind, Xiaohua, don't you feel a chill around here? Reporting, host. Indeed, it's freezing, chill to the bone, heart-soaring. You were exasperated. Xiaohua, can you be serious? That Mu Han is already bad enough, you're just joining in the fun. Time flew to 2 in the morning. Mu Tingchuan saw the investigation results sent by Uncle Wang. At that point, he could no longer suppress his fury and cursed loudly. Damn bastard! How dare he bully my daughter! He then stormed angrily to the door of Big Sister's room. Inside the room, Mu Wanru had just received a call from Fu Yanjie. My darling. I was busy just now, phone on silent. Sorry. My most beloved little treasure. What exactly were you busy with? Mu Wanru's tone was icy, carrying a sense of pressure. Are you still mad, Wanru? I was inspecting a project and discussing things with some big bosses, so I didn't notice my phone. Hearing his explanation, Mu Wanru felt slightly relieved, but no sooner had she hung up. The door was pushed open. Mu Tingchuan said sternly, Wanru, that Fu Yanjie is right now in room 5200 of Tiancheng Hotel. If you don't believe me, let's go to Tiancheng Hotel and see for ourselves. Hearing this, Mu Wanru looked incredulous, her body went limp, and she collapsed. Luckily, Mu Tingchuan caught him quickly. If you don't believe me, let's go to Tiancheng Hotel and see for ourselves. His heart ached terribly. But better a short pain than a long one. He had to make his daughter see that bastard's true face. This commotion also alerted the other sisters. They all opened their doors and stuck their heads out to ask what happened. Upon hearing that Fu Yanjie really had a mistress outside, they immediately blew up. That Fu Yanjie is a total scumbag. The loud cursing woke you from your sleep. Puzzled, you pulled open the door to take a look. Before you could recover, Mu Tingchuan pulled you downstairs and hurriedly got you into the car. In the car, you were completely bewildered and nervously leaned forward to ask, Dad, where are we going? Xin Yushan replied bluntly. Xiaohua, that bastard Fu Yanjie is cheating. What?
You perked up immediately upon hearing that. Cheating? Dad, how did you find out? Mu Wanru in the front seat gave you a cold glare. Taking the hint, you quickly averted your gaze and turned to look out the window, but your mind was racing with murmurs. Hey Xiaogua, how did they find out? And they're not even married yet.
This hardly counts as cheating, at most he's keeping a mistress.
The system shook its head. Host, this question is beyond my scope. Xiaogua doesn't know either.
As if to enlighten you, Mu Tingchuan spoke up. Xiaogu.
Earlier, your eldest sister called Fu Yanjie, but the bastard didn't pick up. I had a bad feeling. So I asked Uncle Wang to look into it.
Who knew the check would reveal that scumbag is at the Tianshan Hotel? With some woman named Sophie, all tangled up. Hearing this, you silently quipped to yourself, that was way too easy to expose.
Fu Yanjie's counter-surveillance skills are terrible. If it were me, you'd never catch me.
Mu Tingchuan suddenly coughed violently, cutting off your inner monologue. Xiaogu.
You need to charge in first when we get there. You were stunned on the spot. Me, lead the charge? Is my life in danger?
Xin Yushan quickly stepped in to smooth things over. Xiaogu. Your dad means you're big and tall, so go in first and pin him down so he can't slip away. You were speechless for a moment, then thought to yourself, actually, that logic does make sense. Not long after, they arrived at the Tianshan Hotel, and the whole group charged upstairs with murderous intent.
Outside room 5201, Mu Tingchuan gave you a look. Xiaogu, it's your turn.
Sensing the threatening stares from everyone, you had no choice but to step forward and gently knock on the door.
Hello, your delivery is here. Please open the door. Thanks.
Inside the room, Fu Yanjie, who had already finished his business, was startled by the voice for a moment, then patted the person in his arms. Baby.
Did you order this?
Sophie's voice carried a hint of lazy exhaustion. No, I didn't.
Go check it out.
Fu Yanjie hesitated for a moment, then leisurely shuffled to the door.
He replied grumpily, coming. The moment she twisted the lock.
You suddenly exerted force and burst the door open, then immediately pinned Fu Yanjie to the ground. As several people rushed into the room, they saw Sophie on the waterbed, wrapped in a bedsheet. Her face pale with fright, while Mu Wanru's legs gave way and she collapsed to the floor.
Tears burst forth instantly.
Mu Tingchuan was furious, grabbing Fu Yanjie by the collar,
and landing a heavy punch with a dull thud, sending Fu Yanjie staggering backward, falling disgracefully at Sophie's feet.
Fourth sister Mu Xia cursed loudly, her eyes full of contempt and rage.
Animal! You filthy scumbag! How dare you bully my eldest sister like this?
Fifth sister Mu Yuro's voice was as cold as ice, filled with undisguised contempt.
Third sister Mu Yuqing stayed silent. But her tightly pressed lips and icy gaze were sharper than a knife.
Fu Yanjie scrambled to his feet, cold and trembling, and dropped to his knees with a thud in front of Mu Wanru. Wanru, let me explain.
It's really not what you think. Mu Wanru's eyes turned icy cold.
She raised her hand and slapped him hard across the face.
Fu Yanjie took the hit,
not even caring about the pain on his face, and hurriedly said, Wanru, hit me all you want if it makes you feel better. I'll take whatever you dish out.
Why? Mu Wanru's voice trembled. Why did you do this to me? Wanru, it really wasn't me.
Fu Yanjie suddenly pointed at Sophie.
As if grabbing at a lifeline, it was her. She seduced me. You're full of crap.
Mu Xia stepped forward angrily. Even now you dare to shift the blame
onto someone else? Third sister Mu Yuqing finally spoke. Fu Yanjie.
All your excuses just collapsed completely. He opened his mouth to try a desperate struggle. Third sister, I.
Shut up.
Mu Yuqing cut him off with a furious shout. Who's your sister? But just then, a shrill voice full of hatred suddenly exploded.
Fu Yanjie, you bastard. You'll rot in hell. Everyone was startled.
Turning around sharply, they saw Sophie, who had been sitting in the corner, her expression no longer fearful, but blazing with rage and despair.
Tears streamed down her face, mixed with humiliation and hatred. You bastard, you're the one who ruined me.
You tricked me with sweet words. You promised me resources, and now that trouble hits. You want to pin all the blame on me.
Fu Yanjie, I curse you to a miserable death. He knocked him to the ground and spat hard. You're worse than a beast.
How dare you toy with my daughter's feelings? After saying that, Mu Tingchuan turned around with a dark face, his eyes sweeping over the sobbing Sophie. As soon as he finished speaking, Fu Yanjie was punched again by Mu Tingchuan. And you better keep your mouth shut about what happened today, or else.
I have 100 ways to make you disappear from this world. The threat carried an undeniable force. Catching Sophie's cries in her throat instantly, she desperately covered her mouth, knowing full well that what Mu Tingchuan said, he would absolutely do. Mother Xin Yushan helped the eldest sister, who had collapsed to the floor, and walked toward the door. The others silently followed behind and left together. In the blink of an eye, the room was left with only Fu Yanjie and that woman Sophie, that pair of dogs. In the car, Mu Yuqin held Mu Wanru's hand and comforted her, saying, "Big sis, don't be sad. That scum isn't worth a single tear from you." Mu Xia and Mu Yuro nodded in agreement. "That's right, big sis." Xin Yushan watched her daughter so heartbroken and felt terrible inside. "Wanru, don't overthink it. Just forget him." The eldest sister, Mu Wanru, took a deep breath, but her face was terribly haggard. "I'm fine. Don't worry about me." But at that moment, Big Sis really got the short end. But you can't blame her entirely for Fu Yanjie's mess. After all, Sophie does have a great figure. What man could resist that? Suddenly, everyone's eyes snapped onto you. You were startled, grew a little nervous, and stammered, "Why are you all staring at me?" Mu Yuqin, afraid you'd catch on, quickly said, "Why aren't you comforting your big sister?" With that, she elbowed you directly. "Hurry up." Seeing her murderous glare, you sighed helplessly and muttered under your breath, "A good man doesn't fight with women." Then you turned around, forced a smile, and said to eldest sister Mu Wanru, "Big sis, you're really something. What's there to be sad about? It's not your fault. This is a mistake every man makes." "Ah, no, it's all Fu Yanjie's fault. You don't need to take it to heart." The moment those words left your mouth, everyone else in the car was stunned. "What do you mean, a mistake every man makes?" Sure enough, Mu Tingchuan was the first to object. "Kid, you can't just say things like that. Not every man is like that. Take your old man here, I'll always be loyal to your mother. I would never make a mistake like that." You chuckled again, winked, and thought, "Wait, I've got to see if you have any dirt on you. System, quickly check what my dad's got. Let's dig up some big gossip today." As soon as the words were out, Xin Yushan and the sisters all pricked up their ears. And Mu Tingchuan was so scared his old arthritic legs started trembling, cold sweat pouring down. Received. Host, upon scanning, Mu Tingchuan currently has no special alerts. However, host, next month is your parents' wedding anniversary. Mu Tingchuan has secretly prepared a big surprise for your mother. You were quite displeased. What kind of gossip is that? And Mu Tingchuan, who had been on edge all day, finally breathed a sigh of relief. A smug grin instantly spread across his face. Even though the surprise was leaked, at least his own misdeeds weren't exposed. A faint, almost imperceptible smile flickered across Xin Yushan's face as well. All the sisters were beaming too. Even Mu Wanru no longer dwelled on what had just happened. The moment they got out of the car back at the Mu family mansion, the newly recognized true son, Muhan, who had only been back a few days, came scampering over. "Mom, Dad, you're finally back. Where did you go?" Mu Tingchuan answered casually. "Nowhere special, just took care of some business. Your elder brother and sisters all came along." Xin Yushan picked up the conversation with a full smile. "You were sleeping then, so we didn't wake you." "I see," Muhan responded verbally, but his hands quietly clenched at his sides. He seethed inwardly. "Damn Mu Ge, I'll kick you out of the Mu family sooner or later." Poof, you couldn't be bothered with him. You plopped down on the sofa and started scrolling through your phone. The others also dispersed. With a slam of the door, the entire living room fell into complete silence. The next morning, by the living room sofa, the three sisters were each absorbed in their own little worlds. Muhan's gaze swept over them one by one, finally settling on the fourth sister, Mu Xia. "Fourth sis, what are you drawing? Can I take a look?" Mu Xia replied quietly, her brow slightly furrowed. He kept scribbling on the tablet. Muhan glanced at the screen, and memories from the previous life instantly flooded back. The design drafts, issues and solutions were easy, but just as he was about to offer guidance, you casually glanced over there. "Xiaoguo, what's going on with my fourth sister, Mu Xia?" "Host, your fourth sister is working on a haute couture gown design and is stuck on a pattern integration problem." That kid Muhan went up and started blabbering. "Damn, if he charms all my sisters, this cannon fodder is as good as dead. No way, I need to get out of here fast." "Host, stay calm. The key issue is that the pattern style doesn't match the gown. Switching the pattern would solve it." You're muttering to yourself, "Just switch the pattern? Something that simple, and my fourth sister couldn't see it?" Mu Xia's hand holding the stylus suddenly stiffened. How dare this brat look down on her?
Host, it's not that your fourth sister couldn't see it, it's that her design style has always been assertive, always trying to add something sharp to the gentleness. But this gown needs pure, soft elegance. Her pattern is too flashy. Oh, I get it, just professional habit at work. Hearing this, Mu Xia felt like a bolt of lightning struck her mind. A knowing smile unconsciously curled at the corners of her mouth, and she bent her head. The stylus in her hand flew across the screen. Mu Yuqing and Mu Euro exchanged glances. His inner thoughts hit the mark again. And Mu Han thought his advice had worked. He quickly pointed at the vine pattern on the screen and continued, "Fourth sister, look. The lines of this Byzantine scroll pattern are too rigid. It's completely at odds with the gown's ruffled waistline, a total conflict. It's like pairing a rousing war drum with a gentle serenade, the tone and feel just don't match." But Mu Xia wasn't listening to his lengthy speech at all. Completely absorbed in her revisions, her smile only growing wider. Mu Han, however, mistook that smile as affirmation of his own insight. He shot you a provocative sidelong glance. "Little Jianmei, this is real skill." Just as he was getting cocky, Mu Tingchuan's voice rang out, "Xiaohan, here's the key to the Rolls-Royce Phantom. It's already parked in the garage." "Thank you, Dad." Mu Han was ecstatic. After taking it, he deliberately weighed the key in his hand and waved it tauntingly in front of you. Damn. I really want to shove his smug face into the sofa. A Rolls-Royce, who doesn't want to drive a luxury car and take a girl out? I'm green with envy. Host, stay steady. You have a car too. Just recall the plot details carefully. You were stunned at first, then rifled through the dusty corners of your memory. And your eyes lit up. Holy crap, a Cullinan. Ahaha, awesome. The three sisters watched your face go from sour to instantly cheerful and found it amusing. The corners of their mouths couldn't help but curl up in secret. A little while later, as the family sat around the dining table for breakfast, Mu Tingchuan put down his chopsticks and announced in a tone that brooked no argument, "Xiaomu, Xiaohan, you two will go together this afternoon to register at Jiangcheng University." Hearing this, your motion of biting into a chicken leg froze instantly, your face full of reluctance. "I can go alone." Mu Han seized the opportunity and immediately put on a pitiful expression. "Dad, does my brother not really want to go with me?" Mu Tingchuan was caught off guard by the question and felt a headache coming on. Xin Yushan's face darkened at this, her tone carrying a hint of severity. "Xiaohan, don't think nonsense. How could your brother not like you? You're brothers, you should take care of each other." Sensing his mother's displeasure, Mu Han immediately bowed his head obediently. Mom, I understand." But in his heart, he was thinking, Mom and Dad still don't trust me enough. If it were in the past life, Brother Mu, you would have been kicked out of the house long ago. The four sisters ate their meal quietly on the side. But they had already seen through Mu Han's manipulative act. Their brows furrowed almost imperceptibly, but they still said nothing. In the afternoon, in front of the garage, Mu Han stood before the Rolls-Royce Phantom, a smug curve on his lips. His eyes flickered toward you casually. But just then, a massive black SUV slowly drove out. Driver Uncle Wang waved at you. "Young master, your car is ready. Full tank, you can leave any time." "Thanks, Uncle Wang." You walked with a leisurely gait and naturally patted the hood, producing a dull thud. "Mu Han, your Phantom is really beautiful, small and exquisite. Mine is a bit clunky." As you spoke, you let out a deliberately exaggerated sigh. The smile on Mu Han's face froze instantly. Hearing your humble brag, he felt a lump of anger stuck in his chest. His face almost turned green from holding it in. On purpose, absolutely on purpose. Where did Brother Mu get a Cullinan? Mom and Dad are so biased. Mu Tingchuan watched the scene and shook his head helplessly. But he was secretly astonished. A Cullinan? When did Brother Mu get that car? This kid really knows how to keep things hidden. Mu Han forcibly suppressed the raging anger in his chest, maintaining his facial expression with great effort, and sat down in the back seat of the Maybach. "As for you, you were in high spirits, Uncle Wang. Follow my dad's car." The two luxury cars drove one after the other, leaving the Mu family villa, speeding toward Jiangcheng University. Inside the Maybach, Mu Han stared at the rapidly receding street scenes outside the window. His mind was still churning. Why should an outsider get to drive a Rolls-Royce Cullinan? Those were supposed to be mine. In my last life, clearly. The more he thought about it, the more bitter he felt. His gaze turned frighteningly dark. He had to win his parents' and sisters' approval faster. He had to build his own capital and connections faster. Jiangcheng University was his first hunting ground. Relying on his memories and foresight from his past life, he firmly believed he could rise to prominence quickly and crush Mugu under his heel. At the same time, in the Mu family villa, Mu Yuqing was holding a cup of coffee. Standing by the floor-to-ceiling window, she said, "Old six Cullinan, interesting." Mu Xia didn't even lift her head from her tablet. When it comes to getting under people's skin, he's a pro. Didn't you see the look on Mu Han's face?
Serves him right, Mu Euro said while scrolling through entertainment gossip on her phone. She coldly spat out 2 words.
Big sister Mu Wanru's eyes were sharp as she said, "That Mu Han guy has ulterior motives." The hatred in his eyes when he looks at Mu Gu, he can't hide it. Mom and dad always feel they owe him, so he can fool them easily. We need to keep a close watch.
Big sister's right, Mu Yuqing said, tapping her fingers on the table. No matter how deep he tries to hide his little schemes, with old Six's blatant inner thoughts broadcasted out loud, it's like he's running naked. But old Six is dead set on slipping away. He's dreaming.
Mu Xia finally looked up, a golden glint flashing in her beautiful eyes. With us sisters here, do you think we'd let this walking human goldmine get away? Those inner thoughts are useful in so many ways, like if someone tries to pull something at the university.
She swept a meaningful glance across the sisters present.
They exchanged knowing looks, smiles full of mutual understanding.
30 minutes later, at the university's freshman registration point, Mu Han approached a sweet-looking senior.
"Hello, senior. I'm Mu Han from Business Administration Class 1. Hold on a moment."
The bun-haired senior nodded, then turned to her companion and called out, "Help find the materials for this Mu Han from Business Admin Class 1. The other senior immediately started digging through a pile of registration documents. The bun-haired senior's gaze landed on you.
"You next, what's your major?" "Finance, Class 1. Mu Gu?" The bun-haired senior's eyes lit up instantly, her voice rising an octave. "You're the top scorer in the college entrance exam, Mu Gu? Oh my god, you're amazing. Here, this is your key and materials. Welcome to Jiangda." "Thank you, senior." You took the materials and headed to your dorm. "Ha! Shabwa, what's taking Mu Han so long? Are they sorting the roster by stroke order or something?" "Reporting to host, that's because he's in class 2.
The words had barely left your mouth.
You couldn't hold it in and burst out laughing. To Mu Han, the laughter was a blatant mockery. He whipped his head around, his face burning red. "What are you laughing at?" You rolled your eyes. Deliberately leaning in, you lowered your voice. "Brother Mu Han, want to know why I was faster than you? Transfer me $10 if you do. Buy me a drink to wet my whistle, how about it? Mu Gu. Don't go too far."
Mu Han's voice cracked with anger.
"Suit yourself. I'm leaving." You made as if to walk away. "Wait."
Gritting his molars, Mu Han quickly transferred $10 to you.
"Now can you tell me?" Satisfied, you leaned close to his ear. A mischievous grin on your face, because you're in class 2. As soon as you said it, as if to confirm your words, a crisp voice came from the side. "Excuse me? Are you really in class 1? Your name isn't in the Business Admin Class 1 roster." You couldn't hold it in any longer and burst out laughing.
Leaving behind a brilliant, infuriatingly smug smile, you strode off with a flourish, leaving Mu Han frozen on the spot. His face cycled from red to green to white. He took a deep breath, barely suppressing the overwhelming shame. His voice squeezed out like it came from his throat. "Sorry, senior, I remembered wrong.
I'm from Business Administration Class 2.
The bun-haired senior's face lit up with realization as she stretched out her words. "No wonder I couldn't find it.
Here's the Class 2 roster." Every second felt like an eternity to Mu Han. After grabbing his dorm key,
as if being chased by ghosts, he bolted out of the freshman registration area.
The humiliation made him want to find a hole to crawl into right then and there.
Over at your dorm, you pushed open the door to find a flash of pale flesh. A chubby guy heard the door and slowly turned around, a warm smile plastered on his face.
"Oh, new roommates here? Hey. I'm Yang Dali."
You forced yourself to stay calm and managed a strained smile.
"I'm Mu Gu. By the way, when did you get here?" Ha. Yang Dali proudly shook his head and pulled out his phone. "I came yesterday afternoon. You have no idea. Yesterday there were so many senior students welcoming the newbies, and each one was better looking than the last. I even got my hands on a freshly printed Jiangda beauty charts. Come on, let me open your eyes. Take a look at our target for the next 4 years.
Yang Dali was enthusiastically swiping his phone screen, when suddenly his brow furrowed deeply, the smile on his face instantly froze, and his tone was full of disbelief.
"Holy crap, bro, you're famous. You're famous across the whole school."
You were hanging clothes in the closet, not even turning your head at the words.
"Well, it was only a matter of time. After all, you're bro here. There's the halo of Jiangqing's top scholar. Even if I wanted to keep a low profile, my talent won't allow it. I'm used to it. Not that. Yang Dali's voice shot up an octave. You're being roasted. A whole bunch of freshmen are going off on you in the group chat. Your face was a huge question mark. What did I do? Who did I piss off? Yang Dali shoved his phone into your hand. On the screen was the chat interface of the Jiangda Freshman Communication Group. Bro Mu. That top scholar? Isn't he just the fake from the Mu family? The real young master is already home. And he still has the nerve to stay? Does he have no shame? Acting all arrogant while squatting in someone else's nest. The Mu family really raised an ungrateful brat. As you read these comments, your blood pressure shot up. Your fingers almost crushed the phone screen. Xiaoguo, investigate immediately. Find out which bastard is messing with me from behind. Xiaoguo's electronic voice rang out. Initiating information tracking module. Please calm down, host. Bro, Yang Dali asked cautiously. Are you really that adopted son of the Mu family? That's right. You reveal the self-mocking, icy smile. So, scared? Afraid that sharing a dorm with me will get you caught up in it? Scared my ass. Yang Dali jumped to his feet at those words. Yang Dali, may be afraid, but I've got a sharp eye for people. After talking with you for a bit, I can tell you're a straight-up guy. This is obviously someone deliberately targeting you from behind. Tell me, what do you need your bro to do? Go into the group and argue with them? Or should I block their door? Just say the word. Watching this fatty's sweetly loyal expression, inexplicably, most of the fire in your chest dissipated. Alright, fatty, you're a real bro. But stirring things up with those trend-following dogs will just get you dirty. This kind of drama flares up fast and fades fast. In a few days it'll die down on its own. Makes sense. Xiaoguo's voice rang in your head at just the right moment. It's Muhan complaining about injustice to his roommate Lingyu in the dorm. Lingyu is standing up for him, leading the charge to blacken your name in the freshman group. A cold glint flashed in your eyes. First day of school and already trying to trip me up? Do they really think I'm a pushover? Alright, let's take it slow, you and me. Over the next half hour, you briskly packed your luggage. While chatting randomly with Yang Dali about everything under the sun. Hey fatty, any plans for tonight? Oh, tons. Yang Dali instantly perked up at that. Tonight's freshman party lineup is legendary. The finale is none other than our Jiangda's universally recognized campus belle, Mu Yuchu. Your hand, organizing books, suddenly froze. Fifth sister, she's at our school? And Yang Dali suddenly remembered something, fixing you with a burning gaze. Bro! Is she your sister? Fifth sister. You nodded. Yeah, she's my fifth sister. Hearing that, Yang Dali's face instantly lit up with a fawning smile. Dear bro, my one and only dear bro. For the sake of being roommates, help your bro fulfill a dream. Just let me take a picture with the goddess. Just one. You were caught between laughter and tears, quickly speaking up. Stop. It's not that I don't want to help you. The thing is, I have a really strained relationship with my sisters. This is hard to arrange. But Yang Dali wouldn't let it go, grabbing your arm and shaking you violently. Just one. One is enough. I promise I won't embarrass you. Fatty, stop. You're going to shake my bones apart. You were shaken to the point of tears. Fine, I agree, okay? Let go. Let go now. Yang Dali's fat face bloomed into a grin. You're my real bro, tonight's on me. Hot pot, all you can eat. Soon night fell. The two of you wolfed down a quick dinner. So I followed the crowd into the venue. With a rousing opening speech, the event began. Next, let's give the warmest applause. Welcome our pride of Jiangda, Mu Yuchu. The whole venue instantly ignited. Next to me, Yang Dali's neck veins bulged as he screamed his lungs out. Goddess, I love you. At the center of the stage, Mu Yuchu, wearing a bright yellow haute couture dress, extended her slender hand to pick up the microphone. The entire venue miraculously quieted down. The prelude of the music began. It was the familiar song Dignity. Mu Yuchu's ethereal voice carried a hint of just the right amount of huskiness, perfectly capturing the song's feeling of regret and resignation. Until the last note fell, the entire venue erupted in thunderous applause. The unified cheers rose to a climax again. At that moment, the host walked onto the stage with a beaming smile. Thank you, Yuchu, for bringing us such a beautiful performance. Next, we have an exciting interactive session. Please look at the big screen. This spinning wheel will randomly select a lucky student. This student will have the chance to sing a duet with our goddess Yuchu.
The rapidly spinning wheel seemed to tug at the heartbeats of thousands in the audience. Moments later,
a huge number froze in the center of the screen, and the crowd instantly became restless.
everyone hurriedly looked down at their seat numbers. Yang Dali glanced at his ticket stub.
But the next second, he burst into earth-shaking ecstasy and slapped you hard on the back.
It's you!
The force of the slap was astonishing, knocking you off balance.
Fatty, are you that excited? I'm happy for you. Yang Dali shoved and pushed you out of your seat.
Amid the attention of the entire audience, you walked toward the stage with a face that looked utterly dead inside. The harsh spotlight dazzled you, making it hard to keep your eyes open. You instinctively looked up and just happened to see the corner of Muyochu's mouth seem to curl into a slight arc. Did she just smile? You muttered to yourself.
Is it my imagination? Or is it the stage lights playing tricks?
Xiaohua accurately stabbed you with a remark, based on micro-expression analysis. Muyuchu indeed showed you a brief and subtle smile,
probably because she finds
your way of walking onto the stage amusing.
Xiaohua, I'm not done with you. You felt like you were about to explode inside. The host timely handed you the microphone.
This lucky student, please introduce yourself to everyone. You took a deep breath and squeezed out a smile that looked uglier than crying.
My name is Mu Gu.
Whoa, isn't that the fake heir?
How did he get up there? Shameless. Hearing the murmurs from the audience, you immediately became furious. I knew this would happen.
Xiaohua, quick, check which bastard is behind this.
Xiaohua's efficiency was terrifying. Host, the source's student council president Du Ziteng. This guy has been desperately chasing Mu Yuchu, but keeps failing. Mu Hen found him,
claiming that you also have improper thoughts about Mu Yuchu and that he himself is troubled by it.
Du Ziteng was furious and set up this trap.
You were so angry you nearly exploded on the spot.
I like Mu Yuchu? That bastard doesn't even bother to draft his lies?
Xiaohua calmly reminded, from a legal perspective, you two have no blood relation.
Whose side are you on? You felt your blood pressure skyrocketing.
Suddenly, Mu Yuchu took a step closer to you. Her voice wasn't loud, but it clearly reached the entire venue through the microphone.
Which song do you want to sing? You instinctively blurted out, a little sweet. Mu Yuchu nodded lightly,
then signaled the backstage to prepare the music.
Scared me to death. You finally breathed a sigh of relief.
But her aura now was completely different from the sharp-tongued sister who would argue over anything at home.
On and off stage, she was like two different people. Brat, Mu Yuchu's smile instantly froze.
How dare you call me sharp-tongued?
Very well, Mu Gu, you're done for.
And you were completely unaware of this. You only felt the temperature around you seem to drop a few degrees for no reason.
When the prelude began, Mu Yuchu instantly set aside all distractions.
Her ethereal voice flowed out slowly.
You took a deep breath,
and followed along to sing, your voice trembling slightly yet carrying a touch of innocence.
The noisy chatter from the audience gradually subsided without you realizing.
Under the spotlight, your gazes involuntarily met.
In that moment, it actually looked like there was a hint of affectionate longing between you. 3 minutes later, as the last two lines of the duet ended perfectly, the entire venue burst into thunderous applause and deafening cheers. Mu Yuchu very naturally grabbed your wrist and pulled you to the very center of the stage. Completely caught off guard, you were dumbfounded. Fifth sister, what are you doing? Playing the sharp-tongued card?
This wave of hatred is maxed out. Those wolves down there are going to devour me alive.
Help!
Mu Yuchu heard your voice, and that perfect curve of her lips seemed to deepen just a little more. There was a hint of mischief in her expression. Sister Wu's hand is so smooth, with a faint, pleasant scent.
Your thoughts drifted uncontrollably for a moment. Mu Yuchu's fingers tightened almost imperceptibly.
Then she let go as if nothing happened, while a blush stained her cheeks.
This brat
still dares to judge me in his head.
I think he's asking for a spanking.
The smile on his face remained. But in his mind, he was already planning how to deal with this little brother later. The two stood side by side at the center of the stage. After taking a deep bow to the audience, you were about to turn and run, but Mu Yuchu was quicker. She grabbed your sleeve again, like picking up a chick, and pulled you quickly off the stage.
Hey, fifth sister, slow down. Where are you pulling me?
You stumbled as she dragged you. You shouted in vain, but Mu Yuchu completely ignored you, her goal very clear. She dragged you straight backstage. Turning around, her red lips curled into a sly smile. Later, the student council is having an internal dinner.
You're coming with me.
Immediately, the excuse of a stomachache popped into your head. You shook your head like a rattle drum.
No way, fifth sister. I just got to Jeon University. I'm new here, and it's getting late. I don't want to crash your party and disturb you all. You guys have fun, okay? Muyochu's face showed a hint of disappointment and grievance.
Her voice softened a lot. Old Sixth, even though we haven't talked much as siblings, we've lived together for 18 years.
Now we're at the same school. I have this small request. I want to introduce you to a few people. You won't even agree to that?
Here we go again, you thought, rolling your eyes internally.
Using fake family bonds to guilt trip me? No way. Just as you opened your mouth to leave.
Mu Yuchu suddenly raised her head.
5 million?
If you come with me, I'll give you 5 million. At this, your eyes lit up instantly.
Jackpot. I was just worrying about where to get money to run away. Didn't think fifth sister would be a goldmine.
A few more times like this, and I'll hit the road in no time.
Haha, Little Melon wisely sent his blessings. Congratulations, host. About to receive a 5 million escape fund.
Mu Yuchu looked at your smug expression and couldn't help but roll her eyes internally.
This brat is really obsessed with money. It's a deal. Fifth sister, you're my real sister.
Your face instantly piled up with fawning smiles.
You patted your chest and promised, mission guaranteed. You only hit me?
And Du Zitting, who happened to arrive backstage, saw your bootlicking manner. He could no longer suppress the anger and rage in his heart. He rushed out of the shadows.
You Chu. This is our student council's internal dinner.
Even if he is your brother, casually bringing an outsider along
probably isn't appropriate.
My affairs are none of your business, Du Zitting. I advise you from now on, stop playing those shady little tricks.
With that, Mu Yuchu pulled you out of backstage. Watching your backs, Du Zitting's face alternated between pale and green. Yuchu knows? How could he know? It must be that bastard Mu Gu. Bad-mouthing me in front of Yuchu. Mu Gu, you just wait. Half an hour later.
In the restaurant private room. When you and Mu Yuchu pushed open the door, a girl with a hot figure
hooked her arm. Yuchu, you're finally here. Been waiting for you for ages. Got held up on the way. Mu Yuchu responded lightly.
A faint smile on her face.
You were jolted by the bold charm coming your way. Damn, this senior's figure is explosive. Ignoring your protest, she introduced you directly. Yutong, this is Mu Gu. My little brother, Old Sixth. This is my roommate and best friend. Mu Yutong?
Mu Yutong dragged out her words, her eyes unabashedly scanning you.
Looking you over with obvious curiosity and interest. So you're that fallen top scholar? Long admired. Hello. Sister Yutong. You forced out a fairly decent smile. Off to the side, seeing the three of you chatting so happily,
Mu-han felt a surge of anger rush to his head.
What gives? I'm the real bloodline of the Mu family. Why does fifth sister only have eyes for that fake?
Fine, since you look down on me so much, don't blame me as your little brother.
I have a big gift for you.
Mu-han lowered his head, a sinister smile curling at the corner of his mouth.
He let out another cold, icy laugh. You didn't notice. To that extent. He gave a disdainful snort. Yes, yes, yes. Isn't this our honorable brother Mu-han? Why are you here? If I remember correctly, this is the student union's internal dinner, isn't it? Could it be that brother Mu-han is already a core member of the student union? This promotion speed, even a rocket isn't faster than you. Mu-han's face turned green with anger. You're not in the student union either. What right do you have to say that?
The nearby President Du quickly stepped in to smooth things over.
It's all a misunderstanding. Brother Mu-han is exceptionally capable and has always wanted to join our student union. As president,
I brought him here to get to know everyone, to facilitate future cooperation.
You showed an expression of sudden realization. So that's how it is. Getting to know everyone in advance is basically a foregone conclusion, isn't it? I understand.
President Du's mouth twitched wildly.
Mu-han was so angry he was trembling.
All right, Mu Yuchu's calm voice came through, carrying an undeniable authority.
Everyone's here. Have a seat. Upon hearing that, everyone obediently found their seats.
Although the atmosphere still carried awkwardness and tension, the situation at least returned to harmony. Young Dali, sitting beside you, had just stuffed a piece of roast duck into his mouth, his chubby face instantly blooming with happiness. This roast duck is truly divine, crispy on the outside, tender inside, so fragrant I'm drooling. As he spoke, he grabbed another big piece and put it in his bowl. You fat bastard, you glanced at him with a hint of disdain. With your build, you dare to eat so recklessly? Be careful you don't sit through the chair.
This is nothing, just filling my stomach. Yang Dali's mouth was stuffed full, and he mumbled back indistinctly. Just then, a nasal voice drifted over from President Du's side. Bumpkin, what a hick!
Yang Dali's chewing came to an abrupt halt. With a slap, he threw down his chopsticks.
Hey! Who the hell are you calling a bumpkin?
The air in the private room seemed to freeze instantly.
Zhou Jiao glanced at Yang Dali's significantly bulkier physique, a flicker of fear in his eyes, but his mouth didn't relent. Whoever eats like a pig, I call out. Can't understand human speech? Try saying that again, you bastard. Yang Dali rolled up his sleeves, revealing fists the size of cauldrons. You believe I'll knock you flat against the wall and peel you off like a painting?
Zhou Jiao was intimidated by this show of force, his face turning pale.
It looked like a fight was about to break out. President Du stepped in as a peacemaker once again. Brother Yang, don't be angry. Jiao just speaks without thinking. He doesn't use his brain. I apologize on his behalf. Don't bother with him.
Yang Dali lifted his chubby face and said contemptuously, President Du, you're too kind. I, Yang Dali, am broad-minded.
How could I stoop to the level of someone like that? That would be lowering my own status.
Zhou Jiao's face darkened with anger,
just about to explode. All right, Jiao, sit down.
President Du barked sharply. The guy reluctantly sat back down, but his eyes were still like daggers,
stabbing at Yang Dali. Mu Yutong quietly leaned over to Mu Yuchu, curiosity and gossip shining in his eyes.
Yuchu, this younger brother of yours is nothing like the vicious fake young master they talk about in the freshman group.
This little cutie is pretty bold, huh? What group? Mu Yuchu frowned.
Here, take a look yourself.
Mu Yutong handed over the phone.
The screen displayed the very group chat that had been tearing you to shreds.
Our group here was originally looking for some promising underclassmen.
But your brother fits the standard perfectly.
He's handsome and the top scorer. Had ha. A water tower near the moon gets the moonlight first, right?
Mu Yuchu's face darkened as he saw those nasty messages.
You're not allowed to hit on him. Why not?
Mu Yutong blinked his big eyes, a face full of question marks.
You never cared much for him before. Now you're acting all protective. Could it be? Shut up, you. Mu Yuchu flicked his forehead. In any case, no. Stay away from him. I don't believe it. Unless you have a thing for him. Mu Yutong grinned with a gossipy look. Get lost. Mu Yuchu's cheeks flushed. How could I possibly be interested in that little brat? Then why can't I chase him? You have to give me a reason. Mu Yuchu paused, then made up a random excuse. Because he doesn't like your type. Too high maintenance. I don't believe it. You must be kidding me.
Two stunningly beautiful women with completely different vibes, hanging out together. It's like a breathtaking scene, forming a sharp contrast with the tense atmosphere at the table not far away. And you, the center of attention, are engaged in a fierce food battle with Yang Dali. The two of you are eating the most heartily and thoroughly in the whole room.
But right in this harmonious dining vibe,
Mu Han and Fu Yanjie exchange a quiet glance, saying more than words could. Fu Yanjie slowly stands up, holding 2 glasses of red wine, and walks straight toward Mu Yuro. Yuro, earlier backstage, I let my emotions get the better of me and said something you might have misunderstood.
I officially apologize to you.
I hope you can forgive me. Mu Yuro's gaze lingers on his face for a moment, thinking that they are at least colleagues in the student council. Fu Yanjie is usually serious and responsible at work, and he never struck her as a bad person before.
Hesitating, she eventually reaches out and takes the glass. Let the past be the past.
She clinks glasses with him lightly, then tilts her head back and downs the drink. Sitting not far away, you're looking at a piece of braised spare ribs, but your peripheral vision is locked on every move over there.
Xiaoguo, what kind of trick is that bastard Fu Yanjie pulling now? A mix of playing the victim and using seduction?
Xiaoguo's voice carries an urgency you've never heard before.
Post, red alert. Something's wrong with that drink. Mu Yuro is drugged. Holy crap, you almost choke.
I knew it. When he and Mu Han were smiling so slyly earlier, they were planning something dirty.
Right. Since that's the case, can I quietly follow them? Maybe I'll even catch a live show. Xiaoguo's warning voice is almost tearful. Post, please immediately abandon that dangerous thought.
Just as the words fall, a surge of heat rises from the deepest part of Mu Yuro's body.
She screams internally. That bastard. Mu Yu definitely knew. Why didn't he warn me? And he was thinking about watching a live show? Mu Yu, you just wait.
At the same time, she clearly realizes she has to get out of here immediately. She tries to stand up, but panics as she finds her legs weak.
Her cheeks uncontrollably flush red.
Fu Yanjie's gaze is fixed on her, and seeing the drug taking effect, he immediately reaches out to support her.
Euro, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Let me take you to rest for a bit. Get away from me.
With the last of her strength, she shoves his hand away hard. Clinging to her remaining sanity, she staggers out of the private room.
Euro!
Fu Yanjie feigns a startled cry and immediately strides after her. But a sly, triumphant glint flashes in his eyes. The prey is almost in my grasp, no way I'm letting it fly away. By now, Mu Yuqing also senses something is off.
Mu Euro's state doesn't look like she's just drunk.
His face changes abruptly, and he too gets up and rushes out. At this moment, Mu Euro, with her last bit of strength, stumbles toward the backstage area of the party. Trembling, she pulls out her phone and, relying on muscle memory, dials your number.
Come to the backstage area. Hurry, please. 500 million, get here now. 500 million?
Your voice on the other end of the line suddenly jumps an octave.
Fifth sister, give me a minute. I'll be there in a flash. You stingy brat. Scumbag brother, big jerk. Mu Euro hears the dial tone.
Tears of grievance almost spilling. Her body aches, curled up as she rubs painfully against the cold wall.
Back in the restaurant, you grab young Dolly, who's still wolfing down food. Fatty, stop eating. Something huge happened.
What's the rush?
I haven't even finished this duck leg. My fifth sister was drugged by Fu Yanjie. If we dawdle, it'll be too late.
Damn, your eyes are sharp.
Holy crap. Young Dolly's temper explodes in an instant. That son of a bitch dares to mess with my goddess?
I'll chop him into meat paste and feed it to the dogs.
He bursts out. Do you know where she is? Let's go.
You lead the two straight to the backstage and push open the half-closed door. The sight before them makes all three gasp. Mu Euro is curled up on the floor in the corner, eyes glazed. Cheeks flushed blood red, mindlessly tearing at her own collar, emitting suppressed, pained whimpers.
You take one look, and your face instantly burns red. Your heartbeat goes haywire.
Yang Dali's eyes are wide as saucers, mouth slightly open, a suspicious string of drool dripping from the corner of his lips.
Both of you, get out. Now. Immediately.
Mu Yuqing is the first to snap back to reality, shouting at the two of you in frustration and anger. You both scramble out of the backstage. Leaning against the wall outside the door, you gasp for air, faces flushed unnaturally. Inside the backstage, Mu Yuqing struggles to help her up and straighten her messy clothes.
Euro, hang in there. We're going to the hospital right now. You two, come in and help.
You and young Dolly immediately pushed the door open and rushed in upon hearing the sound.
Brother Mu, you carry her on your back. I'll go call a car right now. Mu Yutong ordered swiftly. Carry her on my back?
A shiver ran down your spine.
She's in this state, what if she takes advantage of me halfway?
My pure little wolf heart can't handle that kind of test. Even with the fire at your eyebrows, you're still cracking jokes. Mu Yutong stomped her foot in anger.
I can't carry her, the fatty's build is too noticeable. You're the best choice for saving her.
Hurry up, I'll help you hold her steady.
Got it.
You had no choice but to steel yourself, grit your teeth, and lift her whole body onto your back.
Sister Yutong, take my car. You casually tossed the car keys to Yang Dali. Fatty, head to the parking lot. Drive my Cullinan over. Cullinan? Yang Dali froze for a second, then snapped back to reality. Got it, mission guaranteed. After firmly catching the keys,
he sprinted out at full speed.
You carried the squirming Mu Yuchu and dashed toward the school gate as fast as you could. This entire journey was nothing short of sweet torment for you.
Mu Yuchu was completely under the drug's control. One of her burning little hands actually slipped unconsciously under your t-shirt, groping all over your firm lower back. What made your scalp even more tingly was that Mu Yuchu's scorching soft lips kept kissing and rubbing recklessly against your cheek, ear,
and neck.
You felt your face so hot it could fry an egg, and your vision even started to blur.
Beside you, Mu Yutong couldn't hold it in anymore and burst out laughing. Sister Yutong, please stop laughing. Hurry and pull her off me, I really can't take it anymore.
Your voice was already tinged with tears. Mu Yutong barely held back her laughter and quickly reached out to help nudge Mu Yuchu's restless little head away from your neck. But it had little effect. Before long, you fumbled frantically and stuffed Mu Yuchu into the back seat. Fatty, find the nearest hospital.
Hurry, everyone hold on tight. Yang Dali floored the gas pedal, and the Cullinan let out a low roar as it shot forward. At the hospital near Jiangcheng University.
After the doctor administered the antidote and sedative, Mu Yuchu finally fell into a deep sleep, though her brows were still slightly furrowed. as if she were still sulking even in her dreams.
Alright, Sister Yutong, Fatty, both of you head back first. We've been busy all night.
I'll stay here with fifth sister. Mu Yutong eyed you skeptically and teased.
You'll stay? Brother Mu, you're not thinking of doing something bad while Yochu's asleep, are you?
Heavens as my witness, you immediately swore to the sky.
Do I look like someone who would take advantage of a vulnerable person? I'm an honorable gentleman.
I despise the kind of beastly acts that Du Ziting does.
But in your mind, you were calculating. No way, 5 million hasn't been deposited yet.
I wouldn't piss off the sugar daddy who's paying me. After seeing them off, the ward finally quieted down. Staring at your fifth sister, still breathtakingly beautiful even in sleep. You couldn't help touching the faint teeth marks on your face. Fifth sister's fighting spirit is like a little tiger's. She almost ruined my handsome face. But then, thinking about another 5 million, a lecherous grin couldn't help spreading across your face.
So worth it. Fifth sister, take off. Before long,
an intense wave of fatigue washed over you.
You simply slumped down beside the hospital bed and fell asleep. At 7 in the morning. Mu Yochu's eyelashes fluttered slightly, then her eyes snapped open.
Fragmented yet startlingly clear images
instantly flooded her mind.
Remembering how she had clung desperately to your back, her hands fumbling wildly under your clothes, and her uncontrollable lips kissing and rubbing all over your face, a wave of heat suddenly surged from the soles of her feet straight to her head.
She yanked the blanket up and covered her face. What on earth did I do last night? How could I do that to old Six? So embarrassing.
I'll never be able to face him again. Just then, a soft knock came at the ward door.
Startled awake, you staggered to your feet and answered, "Coming, coming."
The door opened, and there stood young Dolly and Mu Yutong, holding breakfast.
"Morning, Brother Mu." Mu Yutong replied with a smile.
Her gaze immediately landed on Mu Yuchu in the bed, her smile carrying a hint of teasing.
"Oh, our beauty is awake. How are you feeling now? Nothing serious, right?" "Nothing."
Mu Yuchu tried her best to stay calm, wanting to suppress the blush on her face, but the flush simply wouldn't hide.
Young Dolly nudged you with his elbow and whispered sneakily, "Brother Mu, look. Is fifth sister's face red? She looks just like a ripe peach." "Yeah, seems a bit red." You also lowered your voice to reply.
"TSK, fifth sister's face is so red it's practically dripping.
Looks like she's remembering last night's glorious deeds of taking liberties with me." You even felt a little smug inside.
"Heh, fifth sister, don't worry. Good thing it was someone like me, a pure and virtuous gentleman, who had you last night. If it had been that punk Du Zitung,
the consequences would be unthinkable."
As Mu Yuchu listened to these thoughts, her already burning face
shot up in temperature again.
She clenched the corner of the blanket tightly, fuming with anger inside. This brat got a bargain and still dares to grumble about me in his head.
It's infuriating. Ding.
Xiaobua's notification sounded at the worst moment. "Host, please note your escape fund hasn't been credited yet.
Please urge for collection promptly."
I instantly switched to little money grubber mode, putting on a fawning smile.
Rubbing my hands together, I sidled up to the bed. "Hee, fifth sister, about that thing you personally promised last night." Hee. Mu Yuchu watched your money-grubbing demeanor, and the shame and indignation that had just subsided a bit immediately turned into blazing anger.
"Don't worry, I won't give it to you." "That's perfect. Fifth sister has always kept her word, so of course I trust you." You completely disregarded her murderous glare. Nearby, Mu Yutong sensed the strange atmosphere between you two. Though she didn't know what was going on, her intuition told her Mu Yuchu was about to explode. So she quickly stepped in to smooth things over,
placing breakfast on the table. Alright, let's eat breakfast first."
Yuchu just woke up, need to replenish energy.
Mu Yuchu snorted, grabbed a steamed bun, and took a vicious bite. After breakfast,
the doctor confirmed that Mu Yuchu's body was basically fine and allowed her to be discharged.
Just at that moment, your phone dinged a message from Xin Yushan. "Since it's Yochu's birthday, everyone must be home on time tonight. Not a single person missing."
Fifth sister's birthday? You were stunned for a moment. Xiaoba immediately jumped out to remind you.
"Host, birthday gift. Don't forget the birthday gift."
But you felt no stir inside.
You instantly found a perfect excuse for being stingy.
What gift to give?
It's the thought that counts, right? The key is sincerity. You get sincerity, right? If it can be measured in money, can it still be called sincerity?
Mu Yuchu caught a glimpse of you looking at your phone out of the corner of her eye, and a flicker of expectation rose in her heart.
This brat saw the birthday message. What surprise will he prepare for me?
But the next second, she heard your stingy theory. And all her expectations shattered in an instant. A surge of inexplicable anger flared up. She coldly dropped a line. Let's go. Why so fast? Rushing to reincarnation? You scratched your head and turned to young Dolly. Fatty, drive them back to school. Drive steady. I've got something important to do. Don't worry, bro. Leave it to me. I'll go through fire and water without hesitation. Young Dolly thumped his chest in assurance, then hurriedly chased after them. Walking out of the hospital gate, you plopped down on the flower bed by the entrance, irritably running your hand through your hair. Xiaohua, come to the rescue. What the hell does my fifth sister like? Don't give me that vague nonsense. I need something cheap but heartfelt. Xiaohua's voice rang out unhurriedly. Host. Miss Mu Yuchu has a hobby. She's crazy about racing. The fastest lap record on that winding mountain road near Jiangda was set by her, since the host has successfully unlocked and completed the hidden storyline of Guardian Goddess. The system is hereby opening a welfare mission. Complete the mission, and you'll get a purple Bugatti Veyron, the only one in the world. Hearing this, your heart couldn't help but pound wildly, drool nearly spilling out. But the next second, Xiaohua mercilessly doused you with cold water. This car can only be driven by Mu Yuchu herself, and it's equipped with a host DNA rejection system. You were so furious you almost jumped up on the spot. After all that fuss doing missions, I end up being a hired hand for my fifth sister. Xiaohua began to coax. Host, calm down. Think about that 10 million. Think about how grateful Mu Yuchu will look when she receives the car. Xiaohua's voice was full of encouragement. Go to the Mu Group headquarters and deliver a lunch. You made yourself to your eldest sister Mu Wanru, who's working overtime. While she's eating, recite the following lines sincerely. Big sister, that bastard Fu Yanjie is just asking for trouble, if any other blind fool dares to make you angry in the future, just say the word. As the sixth child, I don't have much ability, but I guarantee I'll call 110 for you immediately and quickly find a spot with full signal for us to hide together. Professional escape artist, safe, reliable, reasonable prices. What do you think? Success rate 99.999%. You let out a long sigh. Stood up with a tragic expression. Screw it. For the sake of fifth sister's birthday gift, I'll go all out. Meanwhile, Yang Dali drove the Cullinan and stopped steadily at the gate of Jiangda. Mu Yuchu and Mu Yutong had just gotten out of the car when Du Ziting blocked them. Yuchu, are you okay? I was so worried seeing you look so bad last night. President Du, don't worry about things that aren't your concern. Mu Yutong cut in first, her words dripping with sarcasm. And she said everything was fine. But last night, Brother Mu's younger brother was taking care of him closely. I count him as my brother. Aren't you overstepping a bit? With that, she directly pulled Mu Yutong and quickly walked into the campus. Stomachache, standing there dumbfounded, face alternating between pale and green. And you were taking care of him all night. What kind of damn brother? No blood relation, a man and a woman alone. Are you saying that the right heir has already been changed by that kid? Impossible. Mu Yutong should be there too, so it's fine. But the problem is that Rolls-Royce Cullinan. It's that kid's. At this moment, his heart was a mess, jealousy and suspicion gnawing at him like poisonous snakes. In the end, he could only swallow his anger and slink away. Meanwhile, after you got home, you immediately started rummaging through the ingredients. Soon you pulled out a 3 yellow chicken and a piece of spare ribs. Scallion oil chicken, sweet and sour ribs. Added tomato and egg drop soup, a balanced mix of meat and veggies, nutritious. Absolutely perfect. With that, you cut the chicken into pieces and marinated them, then heated oil in the pan. As you slid the chicken pieces into the hot oil, the rich aroma drifted all the way up to the 3rd floor. Mu Yutong and Mu Xia almost simultaneously twitched their noses. Third sister, do you smell that? It's so fragrant, totally different from what Aunt Wan usually makes. Mu Yutong also put down what she was holding and sniffed hard. Really, it's ridiculously good. Let's go check it out. Following the scent, the two crept stealthily to the kitchen door. You were standing with your back to the door, one hand holding the pan, the other skillfully stir-frying. Mu Xia, tempted by the aroma, quietly sidled over. Ah, this smell is just too amazing. Holy crap! You were startled by the sudden voice, nearly losing your grip on the pan. Turning around, you found yourself face to face with Mu Xia and Mu Yutong.
I'll help too. Mu Xia, not wanting to be left behind, quickly squeezed in. Fine, fine. You stepped aside to make room. While you swiftly packed the meal prepared for your eldest sister into an insulated lunchbox. As soon as you set the plate down, Mu Yutong couldn't resist picking up a small piece of chicken and popping it into her mouth. The next second, her eyes went wide. Fourth sister, you have to try this. It's absolutely incredible. Mu Xia quickly pinched a small piece and put it in her mouth. She also squinted her eyes in bliss. By the time you finished packing the thermos and sat down at the dining table, the sight before you left you dumbfounded. There, those two elegant and aloof sisters were now savaging the food like hungry tigers. Chopsticks flying fast, eating with quite the unrefined gusto. No way. If they keep eating like this, I won't even get a sip of soup. Your sense of crisis skyrocketed. You immediately grabbed your chopsticks and jumped into the fray. And thus, a food war with no smoke began. 3 pairs of chopsticks clashed back and forth on the table. The air was filled only with the clatter of porcelain, chewing sounds, and contented hums. After eating and drinking their fill, Mu Yutong and Mu Xia collapsed onto the sofa in utter satisfaction. Their faces flushed with happiness. You also let out a satisfied burp, picked up the love-filled lunchbox, and headed out. 20 minutes later, at the top-floor office of the Mu Group, you sneaked up and pressed your eye against the crack of the door. Inside, a woman radiating authority was reporting work. President Mu, the Fu Group is nearly bankrupt. Chairman Fu called personally, begging us for another chance. Mu Wanru snorted coldly and tapped impatiently on the desk. Tell them to get lost. Your inner monologue went into overdrive with bullet comments. Girl. Who is this? With that aura and figure, she's an absolute stunner. Host, please wipe your drool. Xiao Guo's voice was full of helplessness. His name is Yi Ziyuan, your eldest sister's chief secretary. Extremely capable. Secretary? Upon hearing that, your eyes lit up even more. Secretary is great. Secretary is perfect. When I successfully make my getaway later, I definitely need to get myself a secretary like that. He. This sudden stray thought reached Mu Wanru's ears. Her fingers holding the pen paused almost imperceptibly. She lifted her eyes and precisely locked onto the figure outside the door. Her cute little brother with his but stuck out. The moment your eyes met, your heart jolted. Crap. Big sister's gaze could kill. Xiao Guo quickly reminded. Host, you came to deliver a loving lunch and complete the mission. Upright and unafraid of shadow. Right, I'm here to bring warmth. With that thought, you instantly straightened your back. A harmless, innocent smile on your face, you pushed open the glass door. You, step out first. Mu Wanru instructed Yi Ziyuan. Understood. A cold, sharp voice instantly snapped you back to reality. No. No. You subconsciously answered, but immediately realized it and shook your head like a rattledrum. No, big sister, you got it wrong, I didn't. How could an upright gentleman like me do that kind of thing? Mu Wanru's foot veins were bulging. What are you here for? Big sister. You immediately switched to a fawning smile, setting the insulated lunchbox on the desk. Look at you, for that Fu Yenjie guy. You're so absorbed you forget to eat, right? As your most devoted. Thinking to himself, what trick is this kid up to? Even though he'd heard your inner thoughts about the gift mission, the word comfort just didn't sound right. The food's delivered, you can leave now. Mu Wanru's tone was icy as she directly issued a dismissal. Don't be like that, big sister. You panicked at once, cleared your throat, and called out with deep emotion, big sister. That bastard Fu Yenjie totally deserves it. He's a blind turtle. If any other clueless dog dares to mess with your dignity, just say the word. I, old 6, may not have other skills, but I guarantee I'll be the first to call the cops for you. What's more, I can quickly find a spot with full signal, and we'll hide together. Professional escape, safe and reliable. What do you think? The moment you finished, the office fell into an eerie dead silence. Mu Wanru rubbed her throbbing temples. All right. I appreciate your good intentions. If you've got nothing else, you can leave. Got it. Big sister, take your time eating. I'm outta here. You slipped away faster than anyone. Mission accomplished. Oh yeah. Gua. Let me get a look at fifth sister's Bugatti. Your inner thoughts were all impatient eagerness. Beep, mission complete. Reward has been sent to virtual space. Ready to materialize anytime.
Listening to your fading footsteps, Mu Wanru could only sigh helplessly.
Her gaze fell on the insulated lunchbox. This kid actually knows how to cook? As she gently lifted the lid, a richer aroma burst forth instantly. Mu Wanru's stomach let out an unbidden protest.
She picked up the silver chopsticks with a mix of curiosity and suspicion, and picked up a piece of scallion chicken.
The moment her teeth bit down, Mu Wanru's pupils were filled with disbelief.
This taste felt so familiar, yet so strange. Familiar was that warmth. Strange was that it came from this little rascal who only knew how to eat, drink, and have fun.
10 minutes later, Mu Wanru finished the last sip of soup, staring at the empty lunchbox. Old Six is really keeping secrets. If he became a chef, that wouldn't be bad either.
A most absurd thought flashed through her mind.
Looks like tonight's birthday party for fifth sister might become especially interesting because of your surprise.
Meanwhile, you had just walked out of the company gate.
Which idiot with their fly unzipped came looking for Grandpa Mu to practice?
Then, pretending nothing was amiss, you ducked into a secluded alley.
The 7 people, seeing this, quickly followed you in, cornering you in the lane.
Your eyes swept over them
until you spotted the 2 lagging behind, wearing cheap plastic masks. You nearly burst out laughing. These 2 idiots think wearing crappy masks makes them unrecognizable? Du Ziting's sassy stance? And Muhan's pathetic look, I'd know them even in ashes. President Du and my dear brother Muhan. Why wear masks on such a hot day? Not stuffy? Take them off. With your kind of vibe, masks or not, you're both walking show-offs.
Muhan flinched,
then immediately looked at Du Ziting. President, we've been busted. What do we do? Du Ziting angrily tore off his mask. Busted is busted, who cares? We outnumber him. Mugu, what exactly did you do to fifth sister last night? Last night?
You picked your ear, putting on a punchable yet innocent expression.
Last night, I really was with my fifth sister.
As for what we did, you deliberately drew out your tone,
a meaningful smile spreading across your face. Guess, what can a man and woman alone do? Of course, exactly what's running through your dirty mind.
Bullshit.
Du Ziting roared in fury. Get him. Teach this clueless punk a lesson.
You heard him.
Break his legs. Muhan also blustered, ordering the thugs.
5 thugs grinned viciously, brandishing their clubs as they closed in on you.
Blame yourself for messing with the wrong people. Boys, let's teach him a lesson.
You locked eyes on the first thug charging, sidestepped the whistling steel pipe, then lifted your foot and kicked him squarely. You fix your eyes on the first thug charging at you, sidestep to avoid the whistling steel pipe, then lift your foot and aim a precise kick straight at him. Suddenly, a piercing scream echoed through the entire alley. The thug immediately doubled over.
His face pale, he collapsed and twitched on the ground.
Brother Mu, you're too despicable.
Du Hui watched with his eyelids twitching wildly.
Shocked and furious, the remaining thugs were also terrified by your crippling kicks. But relying on their numbers, they shouted and swarmed forward. Just at that critical moment, a female voice suddenly exploded at the alley entrance. Stop! Before you could see who it was, you felt a blur and your back slammed hard onto the concrete floor. A cold object pressed against the back of your head. Police!
Everyone, put your hands on your heads and squat down. Don't move. Police!
Du Hui and the thugs were instantly stunned.
They all squatted down in fear, while you endured the sharp pain in your back and forced out a smile uglier than crying. Police officer, it's a huge misunderstanding. They were trying to beat me. I was acting in self-defense. Enough talk. I told you not to move.
Xiaobing's gun remained steady as a mountain, her eyes scanning the scene vigilantly.
Yes. Not moving, I swear I won't move.
Taking advantage of the moment she called for backup, you dared to sneak a peek at this policewoman.
Quite impressive, pretty face, amazing figure.
And her skills were really cool too, absolutely perfect.
As if sensing something,
Xiaobing's body stiffened suddenly. She turned her head sharply, her sharp gaze fixed on you. Your heart felt a chill.
You quickly forced out an innocent and fawning smile.
Xiaobing frowned deeply. Her lips hadn't moved.
So where had that voice come from?
She forcibly suppressed the storm inside her, maintaining a calm and composed exterior.
Behave yourself. Move again and I'll dig your eyes out.
Wouldn't dare.
Officer, I was wrong.
You immediately backed down, while frantically calling the system in your mind.
Xiaohua, who is this goddess cop? Ding. Retrieving target information.
Please wait. That crystal clear conversation once again poured directly into Xiaobing's mind. Her pupils sharply contracted.
Xiaohua? Retrieving information? Who is she? Why can I hear her thoughts? Retrieval complete. Host, target name, Xia Bing, Luo City Criminal Police Squad Officer. But you were a bit unsatisfied. That's it? No more explosive info? Like measurements? I mean hidden identity. Xiaoguo rolled her eyes. Hidden identity loading.
Xia Bing, a direct descendant of the top-tier Xia family in the capital. She rejected her family's arrangements and came to Luo City incognito to work as a police officer. Note, she is good friends with your eldest sister, Mu Wanru.
She's here because she had an appointment with Mu Wanru.
Eldest sister?
She has business with my eldest sister?
You were completely dumbfounded.
Could it be that my eldest sister got into trouble? Is she being taken in for questioning?
Meanwhile, Xia Bing was inwardly terrified.
Her real identity, her purpose for coming to Luo City, even today's private appointment.
Everything had been laid bare. She felt her worldview shaken, but years of police instinct forced her to maintain a calm exterior, though her face grew even colder and more intimidating. The sound of sirens approached.
2 police cars quickly arrived at the alley entrance.
All of you were loaded into the police cars.
In the interrogation room, Xia Bing looked at you seriously. What's your name?
Officer.
I'm Mu Gu.
You instinctively broke into a smile, trying to lighten the atmosphere.
Go.
You're that fake young master of the Mu family who took the real son's place.
She put on a stern face again,
and ordered in an unquestioning tone, tell me the whole story from start to finish.
Don't leave anything out or exaggerate.
You immediately sat up straight and began recounting everything. Those bastards made the first move.
I was completely forced to fight back.
The pen in Xia Bing's hand flew across the notepad.
Alright, I've recorded your statement.
We'll verify it later.
If it's basically true.
You can notify a family member to handle the paperwork, and then you can leave.
Damn it. I have to call a family member?
You were inwardly screaming. Where were you supposed to find a family member?
The Mu family people?
Right, there's eldest sister. You had just brought her lunch earlier. The process was a bit rough, but at least for the sake of the food, she might come bail out this cheap brother. But just then, Xiaoguo's cold electronic voice sounded like a bucket of cold water. According to the personality model analysis of Mu Wanru, the probability of her personally coming to the police station to bail you out is less than 5%.
It is recommended that you prepare to spend the night in the detention room. You damn system, always kicking me when I'm down. You gritted your teeth in anger.
Xia Bing lowered her head slightly, appearing focused on organizing the notes. But she heard every word of your heart's desperate yet prideful thoughts. The fingers holding her pen paused almost imperceptibly.
Xia Bing's lips finally couldn't help but curl up into a tiny smile.
She pulled out her phone and dialed directly.
Hey, Wanru, there's been a little accident. I was almost at your company.
I had the day off and wanted to go shopping with you, but I ran into a bunch of people fighting on the way. Your younger brother Mu Gu was in it too.
Mu Gu? Mu Wanru's voice instantly turned cold. What trouble did he cause this time?
Your other brother Mu Han was also there, Xia Bing added.
But we've mostly figured it out. A few punks started it. They were just caught up in it. Mu Ji's side is not a big problem now. Can you come over to sign and take him away?
Okay, I'll be right there.
Mu Wanru answered decisively.
By the way, Xia Bing quickly seized the opportunity, the case is settled.
Don't you dare bail on our shopping trip. I took a rare day off just to see you. Mu Wanru happened to need to pick out a birthday gift for Mu Euro.
So she agreed readily.
Alright, see you soon. 10 minutes later, in the police station lobby, Mu Wanru walked in with a serious expression.
There you were, sprawled carelessly on a chair in the waiting area. Your long legs stretched out, head down, deeply focused on poking at your phone screen, completely oblivious to everything around you.
Xiao Bing, Mu Wanru looked away from you and asked, didn't you say Mu Han was here too?
Where is he? He and that guy with a stomachache were bailed out before you came. Xia Bing pursed her lips, her tone carrying a hint of undisguised contempt.
Hearing this, Mu Wanru's eyes instantly turned cold. No, plus Mu Han. He nodded expressionlessly.
Then he walked straight toward you. While you were totally absorbed in your game, you suddenly caught a familiar scent.
You sniffed instinctively. Why does this smell so familiar?
It's like the perfume in Big Sister's office.
The next second, a small hand precisely twisted your ear.
You shot up from the chair.
Grimacing and howling, Big Sister, take it easy. My ear's going to fall off.
Mu Wanru let go, her face completely calm.
Having fun? Let's go. You rubbed your burning ear, looking up at Mu Wanru with aggrieved eyes. Your gaze was full of accusation. This female demon is totally ungrateful. I just brought you a loving lunch. And now you twist my ear? If you weren't a woman, I would have long since.
Xiaoguo quickly stepped in to calm the fire.
Chill out. Fast. Think about your mission. Think about the deadline.
Think about that 10 million.
Chill my ass. It's all because of this damn mission of yours. From today onward. I'm done with Mu Wanru. Irreconcilable. Cut off. Not a single word to her.
You turned your head away angrily, declaring your determination to cut ties through action. Beside you, Xiaobing watched your puffed-up expression.
Almost couldn't hold back a laugh. This Mu Gu is so funny. And Mu Wanru wasn't even mad.
Instead, a wave of pleasure slid through her heart.
Who knew teasing her little brother could be this enjoyable?
Her lips curved slightly, and she spoke again, "Let's go."
With that, she turned and walked out first. Xiaobing, suppressing her laughter, quickly followed Mu Wanru's steps.
You stood there stunned for a full 3 seconds, then finally slumped your head and followed.
10 minutes later, you collapsed onto the back seat with a look of utter lifelessness. To make it worse, Officer Xia actually got into the same car.
In the front, Mu Wanru and Xiaobing chatted about recent events and work trends.
The atmosphere was so light and pleasant.
Only you felt like a ghost, completely shoved into a corner.
Radiating thick resentment. After a long while, realizing this wasn't the way home, you couldn't hold back anymore. Summoning your courage, you forced a smile and asked, "Big sister, Officer Xia, where are you guys going?" I suddenly remembered I have some urgent business at school. Mu Wanru glanced at you in the rearview mirror.
Her tone carried a hint of teasing.
Aren't you not talking to us anymore? Big sister, that's unfair. We're going shopping at Huanyu Tiandi. As for you, of course, you're coming too.
And stop calling me Officer Xia.
Just call me Bing Bing Jie. Your face instantly fell. Can I not go? I promise I won't run off.
I'll just wait in the car.
I swear. No way.
Xiaobing and Mu Wanru said in unison. Then they exchanged a smile.
Be self-aware as manual labor. Don't even think about slacking off. Damn capitalists.
You collapsed back into the back seat in despair, staring blankly at the ceiling. Like a salted fish that had lost all dreams. At Huanyu Tiandi, the two of them headed straight for the jewelry store as soon as they got out of the car. Only you showed no interest in those shiny stones, listlessly leaning against the pillar nearby.
Inside, you kept complaining, what use are these worthless rocks besides being expensive? Can you eat them or drink them? Not as practical as my instant noodles.
Xiaobing couldn't help but twitch her mouth upon hearing the thought, quickly pretending to look at the necklace to mask her expression.
Meanwhile, Mu Wanru only commented on one ring. The cut and clarity of this blue diamond are pretty good. Miss Mu, you have great taste. This is one of our flagship treasures, a top-grade cornflower blue diamond from South Africa. The saleslady's introduction went on and on. You secretly peeked at the price tag. Damn, over 50 million for a useless rock? Big sis, you must be crazy. Give me that money, it'd be enough to travel around the world 800 times. Hearing your thoughts, Mu Wanru turned and shot you a cool glance.
You caught her gaze. You immediately forced a sycophantic fake smile. Just then, Xiaobing picked up a necklace and held it against her neck, asking you,
Mu Gu, little brother, how does this look? You glanced casually and said offhandedly, nice, nice. Sister Bing Bing, you look beautiful in anything. But inside you were still mocking, isn't it just a chain with a piece of glass? What difference could it make? Xiaobing was annoyed and silently put the necklace back. Before you knew it, over an hour had passed. Mu Wanru raised her hand to check the time. Xiaobing, it's getting late. We should head back. Xiaobing nodded. I have to go back to the team too, I've got a report to finish tonight. What a shame. I won't make it to Fifth Sister's birthday banquet.
Please wish her a happy birthday for me.
After dropping Xiaobing off at the police station,
the luxury car turned around and headed toward the Mu family mansion. Staring at the scenery rapidly receding outside the window, you felt very relieved, finally free. But you didn't notice that Mu Wanru was secretly watching you through the rearview mirror. That usually aloof and elegant woman actually had a meaningful smile curling at the corner of her lips. Half an hour later, as soon as you entered the house, Mu Wanru immediately locked onto a figure in the living room, a hint of undisguised surprise in her gaze.
Wanshi, you're back. Wanshi was just freed from being a human clothes rack.
You followed her gaze. On the sofa lounged a woman lazily, second sister, Mu Wanshi. It looked like she had just come from some important event, rushing back without even changing her formal dress.
Yeah, big sis, I just got off the plane a little while ago. Mu Wanshi stood up,
responding with a particularly bright smile. Then her eyes landed on you, who was loaded down with shopping bags. Their gazes collided in midair.
You froze right on the spot. Damn, little melon. Slap me, am I dreaming? Is this the legendary second sister? The living, breathing top celebrity Mu Wanshi?
Little Melon's voice was full of helplessness. Host, stay calm. Mu Wanshi's identity is your second sister, occupation, actress, singer, top star. Even though Mu Wanshi had been tipped off by her younger sisters earlier. Hearing your bizarre inner monologue now still made a flicker of surprise and interest flash in her eyes.
Oh my god. This is a living celebrity.
Such a rare chance, I have to shake her hand.
This is something I can brag about for life.
You made up your mind instantly, dashed over in 3 big steps, and dropped to one knee abruptly. Second sister, your reputation is truly thunderous.
Meeting you in person today is the honor of a lifetime. May I have the fortune to shake your hand? For a keepsake. Instantly, the entire living room fell silent,
even though the 4 sisters had mentally prepared themselves. Seeing your over-the-top performance still made their mouths twitch uncontrollably. Mu Wanshi was stunned by your sudden grand gesture.
Was the silent, sullen, even somewhat gloomy Mugu from her memory really the same person as this goofball in front of her?
Somehow, she actually extended her hand. You clasped it with both hands,
gently shaking it up and down.
I shook it. I shook a top star's hand. So soft and smooth, worth a lifetime. Little Melon issued a stern warning. Host, please stop your creepy fangirl behavior immediately.
And mind your personal image.
Hearing the words creepy fangirl, Mu Wanshi could no longer keep a straight face. This little brother really opened her eyes.
After a moment, you reluctantly let go.
Stood up contentedly, and casually swept your gaze around.
Suddenly you spotted Du Zitong cowering in a corner. Your smile instantly vanished.
You raised your chin at him mockingly.
Isn't this our esteemed President Du? Tonight is the Mu family's private dinner. Showing up uninvited, isn't that a bit unreasonable? Du Zitong's fake smile froze instantly.
Just as he was about to defend himself, Mu Han jumped out from beside him. Brother, President Du came specially to apologize to 5th sister.
He already knows he was wrong.
And Mom and Dad agreed to let him stay.
Brother, you felt like you'd swallowed a raw fly. Sick to the stomach. Is that so? Then I guess this is over for now. The intention is there, President Du. Look, it's getting late, shouldn't you take the hint? And see yourself out.
President Du's face instantly turned liver-colored, his fists clenched tightly at his sides. Yet he didn't dare make a scene at the Mu residence. Just then, a gentle voice rang out.
That's enough, 6th. Mu Wanshi gently patted your shoulder.
Whatever grudges there are, today is little 5th's birthday.
Let's deal with the big matters after the meal. Hearing this, most of the fire in your heart dissipated.
President Du let out a silent sigh of relief, forcing a stiff, fake smile back onto his face. As if the near brawl had never happened. Time to eat, Shin Yushan's voice broke the tense silence in the living room. Mu Wanshi was the first to respond, cheerfully linking arms with Mu Wanru and leading the way to the dining room.
The atmosphere at the dinner table gradually grew lively.
Even President Du tried desperately to join the conversation, scrambling to salvage his dignity. At that moment, Mu Wanru set down her soup spoon and said, Wanshi, you're rarely home. Go talk more with Xiaohan. After all, you two are siblings by blood. Blood is thicker than water, and you should keep in touch.
Understood, Dad. Mu Wanshi elegantly dabbed the corner of her mouth,
a flawless smile on her face.
Then a sudden idea struck you. Xiaogua. Quick, check if my second sister has any big gossip on her, preferably something that makes a meal extra tasty.
Host, if you want a scoop that's both authentic and shocking, your second sister, Mu Wanshi, after attending her college reunion tomorrow night, on her way back to the hotel, will be targeted by an extreme sightseeing fan.
According to the projection, your second sister is at high risk of severe facial injury. In an instant, with a clatter, Shin Yushan's silver chopsticks fell onto the bone plate.
The others, as if by agreement, gasped sharply, their eyes filled with disbelief and lingering fear.
Even Mu Wanshi's hand trembled almost imperceptibly. My goodness, for a top-tier celebrity, this would be a devastating blow.
Mu Han keenly sensed the shift in atmosphere and pretended to be concerned.
What's wrong? Why isn't everyone picking up their chopsticks? Is the food not to your taste?
Shin Yushan recovered first, forcing a smile.
It's nothing, let's eat, everyone. Eat, the soup is a bit hot. The others snapped back to reality,
picking up their utensils, but their movements were noticeably stiff.
You were also stunned by the weight of this scoop. This is huge.
Second sister is at the peak of her career. If her face got ruined, that would be the end.
Xiaoguo, immediately lock onto all information about that bastard Seising fan. I'm stepping in on this.
I have to stop him tonight and let second sister see what a dependable little brother looks like. This bold declaration made the sisters' eyes involuntarily
flicker with a hint of relief.
They hadn't expected this kid to have such a sense of responsibility, but the warmth didn't linger for a second before it was interrupted by a sudden chill. Muyuro scraped her knife and fork across the plate, producing a harsh, screeching sound. Her eyes were full of accusation and jealousy.
Helping second sister is so automatic, but when it comes to me, it's 10 million first?
Brother Mu, you're such a double-standard darling. You, still fantasizing about your heroic rescue of second sister, suddenly shivered for no reason.
Why is there a cold draft at my back? Is the AC on too high? During the post-dinner gift-giving segment, President Du immediately stood up, took out an exquisite gift box, and said, "Happy birthday. A little something, hope you like it. Go ahead, open it." Outwardly, you pretended to be nonchalant, picking your teeth. But inside you were already calling the system, "Xiaoguo, Xiaoguo. What kind of junk is this guy giving? Golden and shiny, definitely not cheap." After a moment, Xiaoguo's voice sounded. "Scan complete. A Cartier jewelry diamond necklace, symbolizing eternal love until death." Host, Mr. President Du is really going all out.
Heh, eternal heart.
You scoffed disdainfully. Until death?
A toad lusting after swan meat.
No way. Fifth sister is my golden ticket. I'm not letting that sticky plaster latch on.
Before Muyuro could react, you snatched the gift box over.
Oh, my. President Du, you're too kind. Such an expensive gift, how could we trouble fifth sister to unwrap it herself?
Before you finished speaking, you were already impatiently tearing at the exquisite wrapping.
Only Muhan couldn't help but speak up. "Brother, how can you do that? A gift should be received and unwrapped by the recipient for good luck. It's the rule."
At the same time, he shot an eager glance at Mu Tingchuan and Shin Yushan, hoping they would step in to uphold justice. But Mu Tingchuan slowly picked up his teacup, gently blew on it, as if studying the color of the tea.
Meanwhile, Shin Yushan and the sisters all tacitly remained silent, their eyes full of amused anticipation. The warm smile on President Du's face froze.
A flicker of irritation crossed his eyes. He couldn't be bothered with him. In no time, he peeled off the layers of packaging.
"Wow, fifth sister, look, isn't this the legendary Heart of Eternity? Oh my god, this must be worth several small goals. It's so dazzling. It's blinding my titanium alloy dog eyes."
"Fifth sister, put it on and try it, I bet it'll steal the spotlight."
Outshining everyone.
Bellyache heard your heartfelt words and immediately straightened his back. A glimmer of hope reignited in her eyes.
Mu Yuchu, recalling Bellyache's ulterior motives, instinctively wanted to refuse.
But before she could speak, you had already moved with lightning speed.
"Oh, fifth sister, don't be shy. Let your brother help you." Mu Yuchu felt a cool touch on her neck, and the necklace was quickly fastened by you.
A flush of red spread across her pretty face.
She glared at you with a hint of anger. This guy always does this,
never giving anyone a chance to refuse.
Mission accomplished.
You inwardly whistled with satisfaction. Got to admit, this thing really sparkles.
That bellyache guy might be no good,
but he does have taste.
Fifth sister wearing it actually looks pretty convincing. Mu Yuchu subconsciously looked down.
The moment she thought about how her brother had personally put it on her, her anger inexplicably faded quite a bit.
Fine, she'd just wear it for now.
But the next second, after hearing your inner thoughts, that warmth she had just felt was extinguished. She heard you chuckling inwardly, but since it was a gift from that bastard bellyache,
she probably wouldn't dare wear it for long. After the party, you'd have her hand it over to you to deal with.
Then you'd sell it. And that would cover everything, pure profit, a total steal.
Hearing this, Mu Yochu's face turned beet red.
She wished she could bore 2 holes through you with her glare.
Mu Zhen, you bastard.
And here she had actually felt a moment of gratitude. It was a complete waste, like feeding it to dogs. Mu Wanshi suddenly burst out laughing. Add to that the muffled coughs and shaking shoulders from the parents, which left you utterly confused.
Has second sister gone crazy? Her laugh tolerance is so low. And what's with everyone's stares? Is there a flower on my face?
You instinctively touched your face, then looked down to check.
Everything seemed normal.
You quickly called for backup.
Xiaobo.
Quick, analyze what second sister and the others are laughing at. Xiaobo shook his head and made a shrugging gesture.
Host, this is a heavenly secret that cannot be divulged. Xiaobo can only offer a friendly tip.
Your thrifty spirit seems to have struck a certain chord.
What chord? Nonsense.
You useless broken system, always letting me down at critical moments.
What good are you? You mentally cursed Xiaobo out thoroughly, but watching Mu Wanqi laugh almost to the point of choking. And seeing everyone else obviously holding back their laughter, you scratched your head in confusion. Forget it. Laughing makes you younger by 10 years anyway.
Who knows, maybe after you're gone, there won't be a chance to laugh.
Soon you dismissed this little incident from your mind.
But the moment the Mu family heard the words "after you're gone,"
they all stopped laughing instantly.
The others reacted the same way.
Only Bellyache and Mu Han were baffled.
They just assumed you had done something annoying again, making Mu Yuchu lose face. Thinking this, a hint of contempt and schadenfreude flashed in Mu Han's eyes.
He pulled out a simply wrapped box. Inside was an abstract ceramic vase, full of childlike charm and thoughtfulness.
Fifth sister. I made this myself.
It took me a long time.
I hope you like it.
Ha ha ha. You burst into laughter inside.
That ugly vase, fifth sister is just going to toss it in a corner to gather dust.
So satisfying. Let that kid keep pretending to be good and playing the victim. Host, according to the item value assessment system scan, its market value is approximately 0. Xiaobo, you're too mean.
But I like it.
The little person inside you was rolling on the ground laughing.
Let him waste all that effort for nothing, and it's worth exactly zilch.
Ha 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 ha.
That slap in the face is loud and clear, more satisfying than if I'd done it myself. Seeing Mu Yuchu set the gift aside.
A clear look of disappointment and resentment appeared in Mu Han's eyes.
He suddenly turned to look at you. His voice rose an octave. Brother, fifth sister loves you the most. Your gift must be especially precious and valuable, right?